Secretary General. He graduated with a Bachelor of Human Sciences in Political Science degree from the International Islamic University in Malaysia and pursued postgraduate studies, the Strategic and Defense Studies program in Faculty of Art and Social Sciences from the University of Malaya. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Sami Serdar to the floor to present his speech and presentation. Mr. Sami, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Enes. Thank you being with us here with you all, and thank you, Mr. Evren and our partners, SOGLEP and others, to invite us here to give a space to introduce our institution and our department and projects and activities. Before I go into the YBH, as all you know, ICYF roles. We are the institution who are responsible for the youth of the Islamic nations, 57 Islamic nations, as well as beyond the Islamic nations, OIC states. We are also responsible for the youth who are in the minorities of all over the world. We have more than 1 billion audience, which we have to take care. And YBH, Young Business Hub initiative, is the initiative in ICYF to empower the youth in economic area through some projects and activities. I would like to just go into the YBH details. I'll just share my presentation with you. Just a second. Young Business Hub is an umbrella initiative, actually. Under Young Business Hub, we have 4 main categories. Our first category is the startups and SMEs. As all you know, OIC states are not well-developed nations. Most of the states are on the developing stage, and most of our mass citizens are under deprived situations. How to overcome this situation is now the innovation, which few gathered together with the ideas and solutions, then they can form a unity, as we call it, startup, innovative entrepreneurs, to bring some innovative forms of entrepreneurship into their nations, which they can give strength to their nation's economic capacity and capability to give solutions for people's need in their nation, as well as in the OIC states. What we do is, for the startup, we are doing a startup competitions as a YBH. We are targeting to have 4 competitions in the 2021, as well as we are doing boot camps for the startups as well. We are also plan to do 4 boot camps every quarter, 1 boot camp at 2021. As well as when we have the competition, we are having at the end, as a grand closing, we are having a startup summits to prize those who are showing their success with their startups ideas and implementation. That is the first area which we have as the startups under the YBH. Here, for the startup, what I can say is during the post-economic activities, like or still we are practicing earlier economic activities, you have to have an investment, a lot of investment. You have to have a lot of infrastructure, and you have to have a lot of human resource, as well as you have to have a lot of capital to build or structure and run businesses. Nowadays, with the startups, this is changing drastically. Youth, especially young minds, with the different views and different ideas, they gather together, 3 of them, 2 of them, 5 of them, maximum 7 to 10 of them can gather together, and they can form a unity which they can change and the fortune of their family, their town or their city or their country. We have one latest, which I think you must all know, is the Selçuk Bayraktar in Turkey, which he was in States and utilizing his knowledge and expertise for the state companies, United States companies. He has made a decision to return back to his country, and he convinced authorities to believe in him in the drone technology. Then he has convinced the authorities in the government and army offices. Then he started building a drone technology in Turkey. Within few years, now Turkey is one of the drone technology owner. Around 90, 93, 94 of 94% of the drone which Turkey is building is a locally made as a technology, and now he has changed the fortune in terms of national security, in terms of defense, in terms of international capacity and capability of the nation in Turkey, and some other also countries should be having such an examples. We were having the drone technology. We were buying the drone from some other states, but even those states were not giving us a much information which drones gathered. Now we are fully on the technology, and we have all the information gathered from the drone. Anyway, that's what I say. Startups can change the fortune of the family, city, or the nation. That's why young generations must believe in themselves, and they have to push and convince their superiors for their ideas and for their beliefs which they are gathered to implement. From there, you will have the change. You will create the change, as well as you will help yourself, your society, your family, and your nation. That's what I can say for the startups. Second one, we have boot camps, as I mentioned. Through boot camps, those from the competition which we have selected, we will give them a training, online training with the certified licensed contents. Then at the end, during these days, we are doing it just online. At the end, we are bringing them to the in-person, face-to-face boot camps, sometimes in their places, sometimes in our place in Turkey, to give excessive training for their enhancement. That is the boot camps which we are doing for the startups. At the end, through these boot camps, sometimes those who are successful in the boot camps, we are giving them an opportunity to be admitted into the incubation centers here in Turkey, for them to get support from the government and other authorities. As well as at the end of these competition and boot camps, we are having a startup summits, entrepreneurship summits, for them to show their capacity and capability and success to the world. VCs, venture capitals, or fund owners and other business entities to get a financial support or partnership when they present themselves on the stage during our entrepreneurs startup summit. We are starting with competition. We are giving training. At the end, those who are in showing us the success, then we are bringing them to the stage to be noticed by the fund owners, I can say. There where we are doing what we are doing for the startups in under the YBH. As well as we have a same process for the SMEs, as well as we have also vetted centers, which we call it vocational educational training and enterprise centers, entrepreneurship centers. These one, we have a two program. One is designed for Mali and surrounding states. Another one designed in Malaysia as a innovation and entrepreneurship center for the surrounding states. Through these centers, we would like to increase these centers into the CIS countries and MENA regions and some other regional hubs to train those who are inquired to have a skill, personal skill to benefit for their daily needs, for their family needs, such as like mushroom plantation or freeze-dry technology, or dry technology of the fish or veggies and fruits, or tailoring or car mechanic or such, whichever the region requires. These realities are inquired. We are planning to train those youth there in those centers, which we will give them within a short period of time a skill to empower their how to say, economic freedom through the knowledge which they have gathered from our centers. That is another one which we have as an initiative. What we have, as I summarize, is we have startups competitions, we have boot camps. For the vetted centers also, we are doing boot camps as well on the specific sectors. Those who are attending the training as well as the boot camps, we are bringing them to the Turkey or some other countries who are good in for the practical training, such as like farming or car mechanic or whichever is required, or greenhouse and such. Startups, boot camps, startup summits, as well as the vetted centers. These are the four main economic initiatives of the ICYF Young Business Hub program. I will just go through presentation. As I mentioned, all these are the details of the our summits. Like we have a Takeoff Istanbul Summit, Kazan Entrepreneurship Forum, which is done every year. YBH Entrepreneurship Investment Summit, which we have done in Cyberjay in Malaysia in the past. In Bahrain, we have done under Wave Young Entrepreneurship, YBH Entrepreneurship Summit as well. These are the summits which we have, and also when we are going for the call, participation or application for the call are huge. Actually, it is catching the eyes of the youth, and we have a lot of applications to our competitions and summits and boot camps. We have until now we have been receiving application more than 123 countries, and now we have many startups who are having prizes not only in our summits and some other international summits as well. These are the verticals which we have for our startups, as well as our boot camps, which you can see. These are all valid verticals which all are engaged with nowadays. These are the vocational educational centers which I have just mentioned to you shortly earlier. Nowadays, what we have developed is what we find out that when we have the summit or boot camps or any other activities, we have a lot engaging with us, but after that we will be losing them. Now we are developing a module a system which we will be getting all whoever we are engaged with as an alumni, like ICYF alumni, which will be giving them a space for them to interact and socialize within the system, inshallah, soon within the ICYF. As well as we have developed a LMS learning management system, Moodle-based learning management system like the universities does distance learning. We are giving an access to those who are being selected to do a training through our LMS before they are coming to the face-to-face or in-person boot camps or vetted center activities. Theory, which we will be nowadays not permitting us to go one-to-one offline. Now we are doing it, inshallah, through this system online. Everyone could learn whichever is required for their need as a knowledge through our system, inshallah. As I mentioned, regional centers for the vetteds, we are planning to have in every region. Right now, for Mali and Malaysia is in consideration. Inshallah, soon we will be improving in the near future. As well as also, rather than our alumni, we will be also in touch with our networks in the business sector, as well as we will be keeping the information about our mentors and coaches and technical experts, whoever is in touch with our startups and our youth. This is the detail of the Young Business Hub program, which I can give as a brief. Right now, we have developed recently we have developed a program. It will be starting, inshallah, kicking off at the end of this month. It will be a 2-month program. We have a lot of startups who are successfully develop their idea to the business into implementation, and they are even go further, and they have raised a fund. VCs or fund owners are already invested in their startups, and they are doing their business and growing their idea into a further stronger stage. What we thought is those who are successful startups to share their stories with our youth, for them to get an inspiration. Maybe they have idea, maybe they have thoughts, maybe they have some entrepreneur mind which they would like to engage with while they are working, while they are studying, while they are how to say carrying on their education. They may have also engaged with some business activities. Maybe they may plant the idea nowadays, and that seed will grow when till they graduate, or while they are studying, they may also be one of the startup which can get a notice by the investors or incubation centers to be incubated to be grow. We invite nine of the successful startups to share their stories, how they started, how they thought, what was the philosophy behind their startup, how to say, idea, and how they progress, and where they are, and where they where they are heading. We ask them to share with our youth. Youth may inspire from them, from their journey, from their story. Inshallah, we are starting with on 30th of this month with Snack House, one of the successful female startup in Turkey, and it will be following with some other countries in different regions, from Indonesia, from Sri Lanka, from any other Pakistan, and some other states. I would just like to share the video of the promotion video of the our program. Then I'll be going for the question and answer session if moderator permits.
Of course, sure. Inshallah.
I'm just sharing the video.
Yes.
Then we'll come back. I am with you, Enes.
Thank you, Mr. Sami, for your brief presentation, and of course the very usable information for the Young Business Hub project, because being an entrepreneur and creating some initiative, it's just like something that everybody can do. Of course, that you need to have a maybe you need to be really dedicated, well motivated, and you have to be maybe hard worker person to achieve such kind of things. But still, I believe that entrepreneurship is now, especially nowadays, they have a lot of good chances that you have hundreds of places that you can bring your startup to, and I think it's good times for any startup to develop their ideas and strategies. Of course, maybe you may think, okay, what else to think more? You're thinking yourself that, okay, maybe I will be finding a new entrepreneurship, but maybe this is something that has been done before. People are still asking himself what else left to be explored, but there are many things to be explored. So these kind of programs actually widen our strategies and widen our imagination for the development of this such kind of initiatives and entrepreneurship. So the floor is open for any question and answer. Is there any from the our
I would like to.
Sure. Yes, Mr. Evan.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Sardar. Actually, this is really great. Kickstart for our discussion. And also like our program, Design Post-COVID Humanity, Tarif Tawun Tarahum Initiative. One of the key elements of this program actually is that the question of social innovation and entrepreneurship are critically important in today's world. But at the same time, we want individuals, we want change makers to be morally laden, to be ethically driven, and also have strong guideposts in terms of the values they resemble and they foster. So speaking of this, sometimes it's not the idea, but it's actually the process of execution of the idea. And it doesn't have to be a success case. Not every startup has to be successful. Sometimes failing is a big advantage. I see so many different entrepreneurs, innovators who are so proud of their failures. So perhaps my point is, in the past 2.5 years, I have been leading a research grant on localizing entrepreneurship education in Qatar. And we have been building a lot of curriculum and educational modalities and pedagogies to teach entrepreneurship to the youth. And often everybody is thinking that, most of the students, participants thinking that it's about finding the right idea. And it's just get the idea, find it, sell it, make money, then finish. That's it. There's just kind of like a misconception. So my question to you, your organization through ICYF actually, and your initiatives in multinational platforms and international frameworks, you are promoting startups. But then when it comes to kind of like supporting them, when it comes to mentoring them, when it comes to putting all these actually startups on a sustainable path, like drawing a future trajectory for them, is there anything we are missing in the world? Not just you. I know that you are one of the many platforms, but overall, I feel that we should try to stay away from kind of a winner and a loser, but focus more on the process itself, the entrepreneurial process, which matters to me more than anything. So on this regard, what would you say about your initiative and how you support not just the results, but the values of the entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
Yes, Mr. Sami, you may proceed.
Yeah, sorry, moderator. Actually, most of our startups which we have been facing is having a social impact on their philosophy when they are starting some entrepreneurial engagement. Like one of our startup is one of the Pakwitia, which through our program, our applicant will meet with him. He has created one filter, is a small filter, which can filter 40,000 liter of the undrinkable water into a drinkable water, which is very much in need in the many parts of the world, in the refugee camps and other places. Like one of our startup is doing a freeze dry technology, developing freeze dry technology, which she is seeing that nowadays a lot of people is not having access to the electricity and storage for the food to keep for long term for their daily consumptions. She is developing that technology to be implemented to give a resolution for African, mostly African states and African societies. There has to be some driving force. It is not the only, how to say, economic gain. If one goes with only personal and economic gain for the business, it may lead him to the some different egos which he may not control during his journey. That's why which I can say is that as well as also Dr. Evren is right, a lot of startups are failing. Failure is it is a how to say reality in this line. But those who are successful in their businesses, they have gone through many failures, and that is the experiences which they have gained for to reach to the success. During our programs, let's say we have a 14,000 application in the past Manama Summit, and we have selected 500 of them, and out of 500 we have selected around 30 to come to the Manama. We are actually going through a butter of the I mean cream of the butter in the last thin how to say part of the youth. When we have noticed those entrepreneurs, we are giving them the training in terms of training for the required knowledge, as well as we are taking them into an incubation which we have partnered with some institutions here to be incubated with the realities of the business in terms of networking, in terms of marketing, in terms of corporate development, in terms of human resource management, and many other lines which is required during their journey. When it is a pre-incubation, incubation, and post-incubation periods are there after business idea stage, these are the processes which they have to be gone through to be how to say groomed up, and which they can be presented to themselves, to the fund owners. They have to how to say ready for the challenges. It requires an effort. It requires a how to say patience. It requires a motivation always. Otherwise, I have an idea, and no, idea is not enough. Materialization, implementation, and how to say eager for realization has to be always stand strong. Otherwise, success is not there. It is not that easy as it seems. I agree with you.
Thank you, Mr. Sami. I know that many of our colleagues, actually participants, are really wondering whether you are offering incubation and acceleration programs. So maybe Mr. Enes will actually give them a chance to vocalize their questions.
Thank you, Hocam. So the floor is once again open for any further questions regarding the presentation and towards to Mr. Sami Serdar. If there is any, please, if you raise hand from the chat box, then so I can recognize you, and you may ask your question to Mr. Sami. Meanwhile, I want to check the chat box as well if there's any written question. I think there's a similar question that has been asked from Safa Lotfi, which they ask did the Young Startup Hub offer any incubation or acceleration program? I think we already answered that question. So there is there's one more question in the chat box. Does Young Business Hub have any program for young women who want to put their ideas into action? Mr. Sami, if you want to answer, please.
Yes, right question. We have a partnership with the incubation and acceleration centers here in Turkey, and trying to increase our presence with the in the global stage. But here we have a few engagement with incubation centers, as well as the ICYF incubation center modality. We are working now to have as a modality to be implemented in the other states with the network of the ICYF, inshallah. That is our aim now, which we are developing. For the women entrepreneurs, we had a recently program called Young Women Entrepreneurs as Drivers of the SDGs. Recently, together with the UNIDO ITPO Bahrain, which we have around 8 to 9 sessions with so many speakers, workshops, and testimonials, which we have implemented. In our programs, we are not differentiating women or male or female. Whoever applied to our programs, we will be welcoming them for the attend our programs. Even some of our startups are women. One of the speakers which will be welcoming and giving the stage this 30th of this month is Hazel Topçu. Is Hazel? She's a woman entrepreneur. It doesn't matter you are male or female, as long as you have the idea, as you have the strength and motivation, as well as you have the knowledge which is required, you have gained, then world is yours to how to say materialize your business how to say journey. We don't differentiate, but sometimes even we are doing some programs for women especially. I mean, more to the adding on to the more how to say specific roles to the women. We are doing specific in that program. We don't accept male into the program. Those participants were all female. Only speakers were, some of them were male. Anyway, I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Sami. Are there any questions from our audience? Yes, Miss Fatima Az-Zahra. Miss Fatima, if you want to ask your question, please open your microphone and camera so you can address your question to the Mr. Sami Serdar.
Thank you so much for the presentation. So my question is, does the startup have to be legally registered in order to participate to the programs you offer?
I didn't get the question, some part. Please repeat your question.
Okay, my question, does the startup have to be legally registered in order to participate in programs? Or just...
Yeah, I got it. Most of our program nowadays...
Mr. Sami, I think your voice is not coming clear. Yes, now. Yes.
Most of our programs nowadays conducted online. But when we have this COVID, inshallah, when we are reaching the time when the of non-COVID era, after online training, we will have those successful filtered startups. We will have one-to-one engagement, and those who are here taking into an incubation, like in Turkey, there is a low preparation which foreign startups can be accepted in the incubation center with the ease in terms of visa processes. and some other countries also giving ease for the startups to come to their country and do their activity there. That's why startups shouldn't be worrying about their how to say visas or for their businesses.
Thank you, Mr. Sami. Is there any more questions from the audience? We will give the floor. If not, we will end the session. I think there's another following session right after this. So I'm not quite sure about the timing. If the technical moderator would let me know when is the timing for the other session, so I can be precise for the ending of our session.
Mr. Enes,
Yes.
I would like to have a few words.
Sure, of course, Mr.
Our program. Actually, youngbusinesshub.org is our website. Our technical team or our co-hosts, our colleagues may share.
We shared on the chat. Yes, we shared on the chat.
As well as we are now ongoing application, call for application for the young startup inspiring stories program. You may share also this application link with the audience, Mr. Enes. As well as we would like all you to follow us with our social media account, YBH Global, which is our account in LinkedIn, in YouTube, in Instagram and Facebook. We have just activated YouTube and LinkedIn. Instagram and Facebook will be following, inshallah, soon. Follow us from our social media account and as well as our website. Stay tuned for our programs. Be together with us, because in 2021 we have 4 startups competition. We have 4 boot camp for the startups. We have 4 boot camps for the vetted centers, as well as we have at least 2 to 3 startup summits in 2021. There are a lot of activities under YBH, inshallah, in coming years. We would like all you to be there with us. You are our strength and source. And we would like to give you a strength also with our capacities and capabilities and availability of the fund and resources, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami, for his closure speech as well. So our session for today is completed with our speaker, Mr. Sami Serdar. And now I would like to leave the floor to Mr. Göksel Gürsel for the giving info for the following program.
Thank you so much, dear Öztoprak and dear Mr. Serdar, for your good efforts for youth, especially I'd like to say. And I'd like to remind, I've already sent an application link in our Slack, guys, in general channel. Please don't forget this opportunity. If you would like to become a good social entrepreneur like Hazel Topçu, as Mr. Serdar mentioned it. And don't forget to today's middle feedback session start at 7 o'clock. And thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.